It's my birthday this week and I wanted to try something a little bit different from my usual product reviews, something a little fun and a little bit different. So today's video isn't really a review, it's more of a farewell, a celebration, and maybe a bit of a review of an icon of Las Vegas, and that is the Mirage. You know, the one that has the volcano out front that erupts on command. Now, I've lived here for 30 years now, and the Mirage is the one that changed everything here. Now, in just a few weeks, it's gonna be going away and it's gonna transform into a giant guitar from the Hard Rock, which does sound kind of cool, by the way. So I thought it'd be fun to mix things up here at Freakin' Reviews and go down to the Strip and spend a day at the Mirage, the resort that changed Las Vegas forever. And this might be one of the last, if not the last, overviews of the Mirage while it's still standing. So sit back and join me with my farewell tour of the Mirage. So I parked in the parking garage instead of valet parking. I've heard some stories about valet parking here in Las Vegas. Sometimes valet parking isn't always a good option. But when you first walk in from the parking garage, you're met with displays from their two main shows, the Beatles Love show and magician Shin Lim, who you might remember from America's Got Talent. Beyond that is their 20,000-gallon fish tank. That you might remember that from the Vacation movie in 1997 when Chevy Chase was checking into the Mirage for that movie. I literally sat there and watched the aquarium diver for much longer than I should have. Now for this video, I was joined by JC Klein, and the first thing we did was our typical tourist photo op in the Atrium.
Get started. Yeah. Just got here. We get started.
Now the Atrium has kind of a unique scent. It's very pleasant. It's called Coconut Oasis, supposedly, and you can buy that online. Now if you've never been to the Mirage or you just want to remember how it smells inside, look up Coconut Oasis and hopefully that's the actual scent. Now the first thing we had to do was go fuel up. We wanted some quick eats, so we grabbed something at the Snacks All Day Eatery. It's a sit-down diner with casual fare and supposedly cheap prices. Cheap for the Las Vegas Strip, that is. Woohoo! Cheap lunch for 56 bucks. Standard chicken Caesar salad, nice fancy fork here, or is it? It's plastic, it's a fake metal fork. What'd you get?
I got the 7 fried chicken sandwich with tater tots, a nice old pickle right here, and it looks like they give you some peppers as well.
I didn't want to have some pretentious, overpriced lunch like some of these YouTubers do. I'll have the veal medallions with raspberry sauce. No, I want a cheap lunch. I got one here. The cheap is $56. What would the restaurants be like? Next, it was time to hit the room. Now, I opted for just a standard room that supposedly has a strip view, but we'll get to that view a little bit later on. The room overlooked the pool, and that pool was definitely calling my name. Now, this room had 2 queens, a strip view, a standard bathroom, and its usual overpriced mini bar. $18 water, anyone? Let's take a look at this mini fridge here. Mysterious buttons, I have no idea what they do. Well, there's no room for your stuff. None. In fact, there's even a sign saying if you put your stuff in there, they're gonna charge you 50 bucks. It all looks very overpriced and delicious, but I'm not gonna use this. Lover's kit. They're well stocked, but I'm not because my stuff has to stay out of there. So with resort fees, the room came to about 150 bucks for the night, which seems cheap and was literally the only cheap thing about my stay there. I should also point out there was kind of a strange quirk with the toilet, that every time you flushed, there was this blast of air. I'm not really sure how I felt about that. All right, the question is on this painting, is that 2 eyes? Is that a DNA strand in the middle, or is it a kidney and a spleen? We really can't tell. Now on the way down to the pool, we looked at some of the shops such as Sock and Bottoms, a closed gift shop, and Nectar Life, which I thought sold desserts, but it turned out to be bath soaps that looks like food. I felt kind of duped. Now the pool is really nice, and I'm hoping they keep that for the Hard Rock, although even people at the pool didn't seem to know if that was the case or not. But there's trees there, there's waterfalls, birds flying around, it's really nice. I picked up a couple frozen drinks, relaxed by the pool, it was really nice. pool, check. After the pool, I wanted to hit a few gift shops to grab some Mirage-themed souvenirs before it closes. Now, I noticed a lot of the gift shops are kind of transitioning from Hard Rock to Mirage. A lot of them had both. I was pretty happy to see some Siegfried and Roy souvenirs, even though the show's been closed since 2010. Now, for my souvenir, I wanted to buy a shirt that had not only the Mirage on it, but the Beatles Love show. What do you think? How's it look?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Should I get it?
Definitely.
My souvenir for the Mirage and the Love?
Yes.
Do it. Back inside, I spotted some shops I missed the first time around, like a frozen yogurt shop and a coffee shop, but I decided to go with one of my favorite frozen treats on the Las Vegas Strip, and that is Cocolini. This time around, I paired the coconut and the watermelon flavors, which were as refreshing as that sounds. Even though the Mirage is going away, there's Cocolinis all over the Strip, so the Cocolinis is not going away. After grabbing our frozen treats, there was nowhere to sit, so we actually had to improvise. We had nowhere to sit, so we're gonna sit in a machine and look at Deal or No Deal while not gambling. After that, I was kind of looking forward to my long night ahead, so I thought it's probably time to take a little pit stop here. So because I had show tickets, I wanted to grab an early dinner, so we headed down to Diablo's Cantina, which has a couple of locations on the Strip. Now, Diablo's features south of the border cuisine and a pretty strange atmosphere that's kind of cool at the same time. So after dinner, we still had time to kill, so we did a little bit of gambling and of course lost any winnings we may have had. I get the lowest jackpot, the lowest. Now, the Beatles Love show was one of the best shows I've seen here in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take photos or video in there, but it was a great show. There was kind of a mass exodus when the show was over. I'm assuming a lot of them wanted to go see the Volcano, which was about to go off, and that was our next stop. From there, we just had enough time to get outside to see the Volcano for its 9 p.m. showing. Now, even though it's been around for 35 years and closing in a few weeks, it still draws a pretty big crowd. We watched it at the 9 p.m. and the 10 p.m. shows, but strangely, the 10 p.m. show kind of ended abruptly. And even with that, the crowd still seemed to like it. So now it was time to head back to the room and my beautiful view of the Las Vegas Strip. All right, so I paid extra for a strip view, which sounds pretty good, right? Well, first of all, the window's filthy, and I got those lights there that are blinding me. So I look out the window, all I see is a blinding light and dirt. Well, I guess it can't be perfect here, right? All right, so the Mirage may not be perfect, right? But what casino is? It was a huge part of the Las Vegas Strip history, and really the first step of the transformation from Old Vegas to New Vegas. I don't know how much of the resort's gonna remain after Hard Rock takes over, but I'm glad I got to see it one last time. I still remember when I stayed at the Marina back in 1989. The Marina has been cannibalized by the MGM now. But they were building the Mirage at the other end of the Strip, and we knew that was going to be something special. It looked amazing and majestic, the way it just stood out above everything else on the Strip at that time. It doesn't seem so impressive now, but back then it was pretty amazing. So goodbye, Mirage. You had a great run for 35 years. If you've ever stayed at the Mirage, tell us your stories in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.